Hello and welcome to another random chess puzzles video. So in this series, I've slowly been increasing the difficulty level. This is the 20th video in this series, and so today we have 10 problems rated about 1500 to 2000. So they've been getting more difficult. I'll probably stop with increasing the difficulty at this point. And in the future, maybe I'll go back to some easier ones because one of the fastest ways to improve your chess is to study tactics regularly. But if you're working on calculation, you can do these more difficult problems like the ones here today. But if you're trying to just work on the basics, especially for you beginners out there and intermediate players even, and you want to just brush up on the basics or learn the basics, then some easier chess puzzles would probably help with that to learn patterns. But there's still more we can learn here today. So let's look at this first problem. The king was under attack by the queen and retreats to g1 here. And what is one of the first things you want to do when you're trying to solve tactical problems, puzzles, or even in your own chess games? Look for checks, captures, and threats. So, what do we have here? Any checks? Well, apparently, we do have some checks. The queen is most obvious. The queen could jump here, it looks like, targeting the king. The only place to move would be the king moving over to here. But, before you just jump and make a obvious check like that, there might be something better. All right. And it does look like there's something better. So pause the video at any time if you need more time to think. If not, let's see if we can solve this. All right. I was thinking that, the bishop, can it move here? No, because the queen is pinning that bishop to our king. So we cannot rely on this bishop at the moment. And we don't want to just capture this knight, or the queen could capture and we might have a back rank mate here. All right. So it looks like we're back to this queen move possibly. So check. We might have a better check. We could go here. And then we're threatening the rook over here. All right. Okay, yeah, this one is a little trickier than I expected here. So, let's get rid of the lines. Look at all our possible checks. Well, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there because our queen will be captured either way. So, if we go here, checking, the only option is here for the king. But what does our bishop do? Our bishop can't check, or the queen could capture. Okay. Yeah, this is some tricky stuff. I thought this one would be much easier. All right. If we go here, we're forking the king and the rook. You know, here, here. The king would have to move here. Okay. And then we could capture and check again. So that might be a possibility. All right, so we go here, we check. The king would have to move here. We capture. Checking again. The king has to move onto the 7th rank, or white's 2nd rank. And then what do we do? Because we're behind in material. So this is something you definitely want to do when you're solving tactics, especially in real games. You can't take moves back, so try and calculate as much as you can in your head. So I'm thinking check. The king would have to move to here. We capture the rook. Now the king has to go to either here or here. So then if the king goes here, we can capture another piece, capture the knight. So, the king would probably go here. All right, so now what do we do? Oh, either way, we can go here and check. All right, I'm gonna just play this out because it's taking forever. So we go there, we take that. Now we can take the knight. Why did he go there? It looks like we can just grab the knight with a check. Do we have anything better? No other checks, so why not grab the knight? All right, and that's what they want. Here we're ahead in material. He's checked. We have the bishop pair for this rook. We just have to watch out for any back rank threats here. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. I'm going to try and get 10 problems in. That was rated 1850, so that's a little more complicated. Just remember, whenever a king is wide open in the center and the board is, open as this one is, when there's queens on the board, you really have to double check all the little attacks by the queens. Now here the position is a lot more crazy and closed up. So the queens are limited, but this bishop has just moved here, attacking, our queen. So what do we want to do? This one looks a little more complicated. Well, before we do anything, let's look at the material. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6 pawns for white. 6 pawns for black, 2 knights and 2 bishops, and 2 rooks. All right. So first thing to look at is checks, captures, and threats. So, does white have any checks? Well, we could capture the knight, move here or here. But our queen would be captured, so that doesn't look too promising. There's one other check with a bishop here, so that's a possibility. Oh, okay. That might be the way to go. So, excuse me. Pause the video if you want more time to think. Well, I better take another look at this. So I'm not sure if this is the way we want to go or not. Because if we go here, the knight can't capture us because it's pinned by our queen. And the king would be in check. If the king moved into the corner, then our queen could deliver a mate here. So if the queen, if we go here and the queen captures, it gets the queen out of this attack. Oh, but then our rook could capture the knight, and if the bishop recaptures, we could grab the queen. So that looks to be the way to go. All right, see if you can calculate that in your head. Take a look at everything. Pause the video if you have to. If not, that's what I'm going to go with. So check. Then the rook checks, and then we grab the queen with check. All right, that was an 1890 rated problem. So, I hope you were able to find that. Let's move on to number 3 here. Okay, less material on the board. Maybe this will be a little easier to figure out with less pieces. But less pieces doesn't always mean less complicated. All right, the king has just moved up here to the side of the queen. Queen is guarding this pawn. Our king is kind of in the open, as is theirs. So the first thing to look for is, as I always say, checks, captures, or threats. So checks first. The queen can check here, here, and I believe that is it. All right, so those are the 2 checks. Captures. Can our queen capture anything? No. Nothing else can be captured. Any threats? Well, okay. This might be a little more complicated, but it looks like because the king has moved up here beside the queen, we can force a trade of queens. So if we go here, lining up on the king and queen, what does that do for us? The queen can't move, and harass our king because it'll be pinned to his king. Well, I shouldn't say the queen can't move. The queen could capture our queen, but then after our king captures, we'll be able to go up here and knock out this pawn and then help our pawn move forward. So maybe that is the way to go. So pause the video and calculate that out in your head. If you need more time. If not, I think that's what I'm going to go with. So queen here. Let's say if the king moves, we just capture, and then his king captures. Then we move forward, and we'll be able to move up here, and his king won't be able to move in beside to protect his pawn. So that's what we're going with. Here, we capture, then we move our king up and pick his off. And now we have the opposition to the side here. The king can't move up and get in front of us, and we kind of cut his king off, and that'll allow our pawn to march up the board. We have to be careful. If we go up too far, we don't want to go up too far where he can swing down here and stop and capture our pawn. So keep that in mind. All right, that was 1530 rated. On to problem number 4. The knight has just jumped forward, adding some pressure to our pawn. Oh, okay. The knight is moved, and there's a discovered attack now on our knight. Okay. Well, checks, captures, and threats. Do we have any? No, I don't think we have any checks. The rook can't check, the knight can't check, and the queen can't check. So no checks. They can... Now remember to look at checks against your own king as well. The queen can check us here or here on the back rank, forcing us, well, especially if it's over here in the corner, our king would have to move up to here, and then the queen could go here, pinning our queen to their king and forcing a trade of queens. And would that help them? It looks like it would, because we are behind by 2 pawns in this position. So we need to do something since we're behind in material here. All right. What can we do? All right, I think I solved this one due to a common pattern. So please pause the video if you need more time to think about this. If not, let's take a look here. If you need a hint, then take a look at a possible queen sacrifice. So that's your hint. All right. So here we go. We're going to move our queen and sacrifice it. So I'm thinking we take this pawn, and then we're protecting our knight. They would have to capture the knight possibly, or check us. If they tried to check us, our king could run up to here, and then use our pawns for cover. All right, so we capture the pawn. If they capture our queen, well, then it opens up our rook to slide over here and deliver a mate with the knight. And so this is a famous pattern where the knight covers here and here from this square. And then if a rook can go to either one of these highlighted squares up here on H2 or G1, with the knight here on F3, we can deliver a mate. All right, here we go. Now we have the check, so we're forced to go here, and then the queen captures. And so now we're just ahead in material, and we should be able to win. We're attacking the pawn. The king would probably move here to protect the pawn, but then we can capture another pawn, forcing a trade of the rooks maybe. All right, on to problem number 5. Okay, rook has just moved, attacking our bishop. What do we do? Do we have any checks, captures, or threats? Oh, another common pattern. Okay, now this is one thing that can really help your chess, is if you, in the future I'll do some easier tactics problems with more of these patterns, because if you can really burn those into your memory, I didn't even have to do much calculation because I recognized a pattern. Now, one pattern you want to keep an eye out for defense here is the bishop-queen battery threatening a mate, but probably here, if our queen wasn't protecting that, there would be a mate on g7. So, take a look at how black can win here against the white king and deliver a mate. So pause the video if you need more time. And I'll give you a hint. There's another queen sacrifice involved here. So that should help give you the answer. All right. We're going to go queen up here, sacrificing. The king would be forced to capture. And then that'll set up a double discovered check. And then we'll follow that up with a mate. So we notice the bishop is lined up here, blocked by the rook. So the rook will swing over, delivering a check. The king will be forced to move, and then our rook will deliver a mate up here. All right, so try and calculate that in your head. And if you're ready, here we go. Check. Double discovered check, because now this is a good pattern to know. The bishop can't be captured because the bishop and the rook, it was a double check. And when two pieces are attacking the king, now normally when you have a check, there's maybe three options. Capture the attacker, block the attacker, or run. But when there's a double check, so two pieces are checking the king, there's only one option, and that's for the king to move, because you can't knock out both of the attackers at the same time. So here we go. We have the bishop protecting the rook, and the rook delivers the back rank mate here. All right, that was an 1870 rated problem. Hopefully you found that. On to problem number 6. So we have a rook creating a battery with the queen here. Okay. Does this accomplish anything? Our queen is covering this, and our rook is covering this. So, but if our queen could be knocked out, then the bishop and a queen here on d7 would deliver a mate if this queen wasn't guarding that square. So that is the threat that we have against us. But we have to look for checks, captures, or threats of our own. We have, well, this rook could check here, sacrifice itself. Maybe giving us time to check with the queen. The king would move back to here, and our queen could go here with check. The king would move. Queen could go here and check. But then the king could escape to here. Oh, but then we can capture here and deliver a mate, and the pawn cuts off this escape square, and the pieces trap their own king. All right. Well, let's make sure there's not anything quicker. Our queen can't go up here immediately because of that mate threat here. So, pause the video if you want to calculate it out more. If not, here we go. Rook sacrifice, forcing the king to capture because the bishop cuts off the escape. Queen check, check again, and then we deliver the mate. All right, that was a 1710 rated problem. On to the next one. Okay. Oh, are we behind in material? They have 4 pawns versus our 2, bishop for bishop, and they have a knight. So we're behind by a knight and 2 pawns. All right. This is going to be tricky here. We do have a queen. Well, excuse me. We do have a pawn that can promote to a queen here. If we do it immediately, if we capture their bishop and their knight recaptures, it'll stop our pawn. So that's the obvious move, is to just promote our pawn to a queen. But then, do we have enough firepower? You know, is our queen strong enough to stop these pawns? That's going to be the question. All right. And is there any threats against our king? Any checks that might throw everything off? So that's something to keep an eye on. You know, always look for checks, because you might have a winning attack and then your opponent throws a crazy check in there that leads to doom. All right. Our bishop is stopping the pawns, but what if we promote and they capture our bishop? Then our queen is going to be tied down to try and stopping these, unless our king can get over here and help. So checks really come into play. If we get a queen, they capture our bishop. We have a check here. Oh, and then that allows, once he moves, it allows us to pick off this pawn. So, all right. Pause the video if you want to calculate out on your own. But if we go here, promoting, most likely they'll capture our bishop to try and get these passed pawns moving. Well, then we can move here, checking the king, and when it moves we can pick off this pawn and then, you know, be able to jump in here or get behind and stop this pawn from promoting. You know, and then maybe we can have time to get our king over here. All right. Pause if you need to. If not, here we go. Let's promote to a queen. Okay, let's check. Oh, they don't like that. What? No. Did we have a better one? Maybe they wanted us to check this way. All right. I guess I don't know, I didn't look at it deeply enough. So, what can we do? What did we do wrong here? All right. All right. Do they want us to go after the knight? If we go here, the knight could block. Then, no, if we go here, maybe we go here. The king could move. Then we could go down here and attack the bishop. All right, I don't know. Maybe that's what they want. And then Well, now we can pick off the knight. So maybe they just wanted us to grab the knight. Once we do that, if they push this pawn, we'll be able to drop down here to stop it from promoting. So, okay, I guess that's what they wanted. Because now if the pawn goes forward, we can jump down to here and then over to here and stop the pawn from being able to promote. And then that'll give us time maybe to bring our king over here. All right. Well, I got that one wrong. That was a 1681. So hopefully you calculated a little bit better than I did. All right, on to the next one. The queen has just moved over here, targeting our pawn on a4. But what do we have? Do we have any checks, captures, or threats? So we could check here with our queen. The king would be forced to move forward here or here. If he goes here, all right, if we go here, and if he goes here, we could check him here and grab this pawn, and then we'd be targeting his rook. Oh, we have to watch out for checks ourselves. They have this check. And then that would send our king running. And he could... All right, so we have to keep that in mind, that our opponent could capture here with the queen checking us. We would have to either run in the corner. Well, wherever we go, the queen could start chasing us, especially if our queen is up here somewhere. Okay, anything better? I don't know. Checks are most forcing, so it looks like we have to go up here, deliver a check. The king will be forced to move here or here. So where, what do we do if the king moves here? Well, we can bring our rook up to here, and our queen covers that, so the king would have to move here. But then what? I mean, we could move our rook back down to here and attack the queen. All right, so I don't know, another difficult one. I'm going to say queen up here delivering check. If the king goes here, well, I don't know, maybe we bring the rook up. The king would have to run, so... And now we're behind by 2 pawns, so we have to be careful here. That probably means that we have to get some kind of winning attack in. Other than that, if we were able to trade queens off and land a rook here, we could pick off this pawn, try and get this one moving. But, that could take... 1 to knock the pawn off, 2 to move the rook, then 3, 4, 5 to promote. And that's if he doesn't try and stop us. Or if he's moving his pawn, he'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves to get here himself. All right, well, let's try this one. I'm thinking queen up here, check. Forcing the king forward. Then, do we bring our rook up to here, forcing the king even further forward? If he goes here, it would be a mate, because he can't go here. So, that really limits what he does. So, queen up here, check. King cannot go here. He has to go here. If we bring our rook up and check him again, now he's forced to go here. Our queen could check him here maybe. But then what does he do? Does he go back in here? Or does he move forward? All right, I'm going to just have to, I don't know if I can calculate out that deep. So, is there anything I'm missing? Do we want to trade queens? I mean, if we go here, we force a queen trade. But if he captures, we capture. This pawn can get a jump start by moving forward and then stop us from being able to go here. So we probably have to keep attacking. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is, now that I see the position, this is what I overlooked. Right here. Now the king has to go up here, and then we can deliver a mate. All right, well, hopefully you did a little better on that one than I did. That was a 1740 rated problem. All right, we have two more problems to finish here. Okay. We have a bishop attacking here. We have one, the queen, the bishop, and the rook here because we have an X-ray move. If we take and the rook takes, well then the queen could capture, or the rook from up here. So let's see what we have. All right. We just have well, checks, captures, and threats. We can't capture here with the queen, or their queen will capture us. So that leaves, a rook capture, but then their rook could capture. And then, I don't know, that doesn't seem to do much. All right, we might have another option here. Pause the video if you want more time to calculate. If not, what if we go here? Check, forcing the king to go here. And then we have a discovered attack on the queen. So we capture, rook captures, and then we can capture their queen. All right, that looks to be the way to go. Check, capture, and we snag the queen. That was a 1600 rated problem. All right, the final problem here. Here we go. The queen has just captured a bishop, and now it's attacking our queen. All right, so piecewise, we have 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns versus 5, so we're ahead in pawns. But we're behind in material by an entire rook. So we have a rook for 2 pawns, apparently. Okay, checks, captures, and threats. Well, what about checks? The queen could check, by capturing this pawn here. But then, the queen or the rook or the king, they could all take the queen. So that doesn't look like a good sacrifice. Now, maybe this rook could go up here and check on the back rank. If we capture and pull the rook away, all right, so a lot going on here. We could pull the queen away by capturing, or sorry, pull the rook away by capturing their queen, letting our rook come up here with a check, but they could still block with this rook. So if that happens, okay. I don't know. That looks to be the only way that can open up a line to the king. So if we capture, they capture. The only thing is, if we go here, this rook can't come back up to this square, but this rook can. This rook can block. Oh, then our rook will capture, the king will capture, then the knight will fork the king and the rook down here. Whew, okay, that one was a little tricky. Hopefully you were able to find that. Pause the video if you need to look at it, or calculate in your head. If not, here we go. Capture, check, capture, and then we fork with the knight, picking this rook off, and now we're just ahead by what, 3 pawns, enough to win. Oh, and that was a tougher one, a 1990 rated problem. All right, well, as always, feel free to leave any comments, like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.